Chapter 6 Geographical Features of Earth. Let's know latitudes and longitudes, weather and climate, factors affecting climate of a place, temperature zones of Earth, eclipses. Latitudes and longitudes. The globe has some vertical and some horizontal lines on it. They are imaginary lines and are called latitudes and longitudes. The set of lines on the globe running from east to west are called the lines of latitude or parallels. The longest parallel is the equator. It is at 0 degree. It divides the earth into two equal halves horizontally. The part of the earth lying to the north of the equator is called the northern hemisphere, and the part lying to the south of the equator is called the southern hemisphere. Other than equator, other important parallels are Tropic of Cancer 23 1/2 degree north, Arctic Circle 66 1/2 degree north, Tropic of Capricorn 23 1/2 degree south, Antarctic Circle 66 1/2 degree south. The Arctic and Antarctic circles are also called polar circles. Features of parallels. All parallels are complete circles except the North Pole and South Pole. The length of parallels decrease as we move away from the equator towards the poles. All parallels are at an equal distance from each other. None of the parallels touch or cross one another. There are 90 parallels in each hemisphere, making 181 parallels in all, including the equator. Longitudes. The set of lines running from north to south are called lines of longitude or meridians. The meridian passing through the old Royal Observatory at Greenwich near London was chosen as the starting point of the meridians in 1884. It was marked 0 degree and is called the Greenwich Meridian or the Prime Meridian. Features of meridians. All meridians are semicircular and of equal length. Distance between the meridians decreases as we move away from the equator towards the poles. Meridians cut the parallels at 90 degree. Meridians help to measure distance in east-west direction. Factopedia. The meridian of 180 degree east and 180 degree west is the same line. There are 360 meridians in all. Grid. The grid is the network of lines formed by the latitudes and the longitudes. It helps us to locate places. The point where the latitude and longitude intersect is the location of the place. For example, Indore is located at intersection of 22 degree north latitude and 76 degree east longitude. Weather and climate. Weather is the condition of air at a particular time at a particular place. The weather may be hot, cold, sunny, rainy, humid or cloudy. Weather changes from day to day or even from hour to hour. The hot weather today can be breezy and cold tomorrow. Climate is the average weather condition for a long period of time of a place. It is a permanent condition. Climate takes a very long time to change. It differs from place to place all over the world. Factors affecting the climate of a place. The 6 major factors influencing the climate of a place are latitude. Latitude tells the distance from the equator. Sun rays heat up the earth. They fall vertically over the equator. The sun rays need to travel a short distance to reach the small area of the equator. Therefore, equator and places near the equator are hotter than places far away from the equator. The sun rays travel a longer distance to reach the poles and spread over a large area. The heat gets distributed, so the poles are colder than other areas. Altitude. Altitude is the height of a place above the sea level. The higher a place from the sea level, the cooler it will be. Even if two places are at the same distance from the equator, the one at a higher altitude will be cooler. For example, Chandigarh and Kedarnath both are at equal distance from equator, but Kedarnath is cold and Chandigarh has a warm climate as Kedarnath is 3,583 meter above sea level and Chandigarh is only 321 meter above sea level. Winds. Winds carry the weather of one place to another. Hot wind from a region may blow to cooler places and raise its temperature. For example, hot winds blowing from Thar Desert cause Delhi to become very hot during summers. Similarly, cold winds blowing into a hot region may lower its temperature. Winds laden with moisture cause rainfall. Distance from the sea. Places closer to the sea have equable or moderate climate. It is neither too hot nor too cold because of the difference in the temperature of water and earth. Land heats up faster than water. During the day, hot air above the land rises and is replaced by cold winds blowing in from the sea. They keep the land cool and are known as sea breeze. The opposite happens at night. The land is cooler at night than the sea water, so warm sea breezes rises and is replaced by cold winds coming from the land. This keeps the sea cool and is known as land breeze. Humidity. Humidity is the amount of moisture in air at a given point of time. Humidity affects the climate of a place. Places near the equator are very humid because the process of evaporation of seawater is faster there. Moisture-laden winds bring frequent rains in the regions close to the equator. The places that do not experience humidity often turn into deserts like the Thar Desert in India. Ocean currents. Ocean currents can be warm or cold. The temperature of the ocean currents affects the climate of the area. Temperature zones of the earth. Torrid zone. The word torrid means extremely hot. They are between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. It is close to the equator and is extremely hot. So, this region is called the torrid zone. It is also called the tropical zone as it lies between two lines of tropics. It remains extremely hot throughout the year. Temperate zone. In the northern hemisphere, the temperate zone lies between the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle. In the southern hemisphere, the area between the Tropic of Capricorn and the Antarctic Circle is called the temperate zone. The temperature in this zone remains mild throughout the year. It is neither too hot nor too cold. In the northern hemisphere, it is called the northern temperate zone, and in the southern hemisphere, it is called the southern temperate zone. The frigid zone. The areas that lie between the Arctic Circle and the North Pole in the northern hemisphere and between the Antarctic Circle and the South Pole in the southern hemisphere are called the frigid zone. These areas receive very little heat from the sun and hence remain very cold throughout the year. Most parts of frigid zone remain covered with snow in all seasons. In the northern hemisphere, it is called the North Frigid Zone, and in the southern hemisphere, it is called the South Frigid Zone. Eclipses. Eclipse means to hide. Sometimes the sun, the moon, the earth come in a straight line. At times, the earth comes between the moon and the sun, while at other times, the moon comes between the sun and the earth. The one in the middle casts a shadow which partially or wholly hides the other from the sun. This is known as an eclipse. Factopedia. Looking directly at sun can lead to permanent eye damage or blindness during a solar eclipse. Special eye protection or indirect viewing techniques are used. Solar eclipse recurs at a place once every 360 to 410 years. Lunar eclipse. When the earth comes between the sun and the moon, it blocks the sunlight from reaching the moon and creates a shadow. This is called a lunar eclipse. The earth's shadow has two parts. 1. Umbra, the part where the sunlight is totally blocked. 2. Penumbra, the part where earth blocks the sunlight. Lunar eclipse can be partial, where only a part of the moon is visible, or total, where moon cannot be seen at all. Solar eclipse. When the moon comes between the earth and the sun, it blocks some part of the sun and creates a shadow. This is called a solar eclipse. It seems as though the sun has a disk in front of it that creates a shadow. Solar eclipse can be partial, where a part of a sun is visible, or total, where the sun cannot be seen at all. The moon's shadow also has two parts. 1. Umbra. The region on earth where umbra falls has total solar eclipse. 2. Penumbra. The region where penumbra falls has partial solar eclipse. Solar eclipse lasts for a very short span of time. Some even last for a few minutes. Time to recall. The set of lines on the globe running from east to west are called lines of latitude or parallels. The set of lines on the globe running from north to south are called lines of longitude or meridians. Equator is the longest latitude. Prime meridian is also called Greenwich meridian. The network of lines formed by the latitudes and the longitudes is called grid. Weather is the condition of air at a particular time and place. Climate is the average weather condition over a long period of time at a place. Factors affecting the climate are latitude, altitude, winds, distance from the sea, humidity, ocean currents, etc. Temperate zone, torrid zone, and frigid zone are the three temperature zones of Earth. During a lunar eclipse, the Earth comes between the sun and the moon. During a solar eclipse, the moon comes between the Earth and the sun. New words. Parallels, lines on globe running from east to west. Meridians, lines on globe running from north to south. Grid, network of lines formed by latitudes and longitudes. Latitude, distance from the equator. Altitude, height above the sea level. Sea breeze, winds blowing from sea to land. Land breeze, winds blowing from land to sea. Humidity, amount of moisture in the air. Torrid, extremely hot. Eclipse, to hide. Umbra, part where sunlight is totally blocked. Penumbra, part where earth blocks the sunlight.